They've won Tonys and Oscars and Emmys and Grammys. There's no red carpet because they're home in their jammies. From Melrose Place to Broadway to Janeway and her crew. Let Seth and James bring all the stars to you.
Anywho.
They're entertaining everyone, so who's gonna grouse? Just sit right back and you'll hear some tales on Stars in the House.
Yes, we're back. We literally ran out of clothes, bought this at the airport literally today in Athens, Greece.
I bought this in Greece last time.
Yes.
What time?
It is.
What is happening? We're asleep, dear.
Yeah, we're asleep. Welcome to Stars in the House. I'm
This
James
is not
Wesley.
a repeat. It's literally July, whatever the hell date it is right now.
July
What is it?
16th?
Yeah. It's 7 hours.
July 16th.
7 hours ahead.
July 17th in Greece, but we're in the United States again. Welcome to Stars in the House. Yeah, well, it is an encore. We're doing an encore edited version. It's actually a specially edited version of Frasier because we had them on. They were one of our very first TV reunions that we had it on last March, and then they came back. What was it, Seth? In July or August? They came back a few months later. What's that?
There's no way I remember.
You no way you remember it. Not at
They
this.
were on
Not
twice.
at this time. They were on twice. I try to get exact dates. And Paul Ewan edited them together. But right now this is live, and we are back home. And
it was a 9 hour
yes.
flight. It was a long ass flight, and
Yes,
it's a
it was.
7 hour time difference. And then tomorrow we drive,
Well, literally we're getting up at 6:30 in the morning.
which is actually not going to be that bad. 'Cause it's
It
gonna
won't be that bad.
7
Yeah,
hours later for us.
right. Because thankfully you have a matinee, not an evening show, but a matinee in Rochester, New York.
Yeah, it's good that it's a matinee because that way I won't be crazy exhausted. So
No,
yeah,
that'll be like an evening show if we were in Greece,
in
right?
Athens,
That's right.
where no one will get my jokes. All right, so we
I
have-
get some of them.
we have a lot
They'd get your sass.
Thank you. My energy.
Yeah.
We have cute photos to show. What do you want to show, Jimmy?
Well, let's see. What do you have something on your phone you're going to show?
Let me see.
Okay, let's see. Let's just see. Oh, okay. A year from today, we are going to be on that. Actually, we're going to be on that very ship with Beth Level.
6 months from today.
It's 6 months from today in the Caribbean. It was weird. It's like it was literally the very ship that we'll be on in January in the Caribbean was in our port. And so a year from today, we're going to be in the Norwegian fjords on a celebrity ship.
We begin our trip to
And
Norwegian
it's sort
fjords.
of Disney themed, though it isn't
It's really
Disney.
not.
It is not Disney themed, but it does have
We have two Disney stars.
because Patty Murin is going to be on with us, and Colin Donnell and James Monroe.
But the two
Engelhart.
Disney stars are James and Patty.
Yes, James, that's right.
And then Colin is the not Disney.
He's the
person.
tag along who's going to be, I guess, has Almost Famous been announced?
No, but they said it's gonna be on Broadway, and he's gonna put in his I mean, he'll take off that week no matter what because he's starring Almost
Yes,
Famous.
he will. Because
And-
it'll be after the Tonys
And we leave
all
from
that.
England, so I think we're gonna do like extra days in London after the cruise or
Yeah.
before the cruise.
Yeah, we're still figuring that out. We're gonna do a day or two before or after. We did that the last time we did the fjords, and
Yeah.
we loved it so much that we're going back.
We saw everybody talking about Jamie. So anyway, we're going
That's
back to
right.
the Norwegian fjords. We're super excited about that. Then we have all these cute photos. We love. Well, we'll talk about
Okay.
this. So we love all these flowers. So James said, "Oh, let's go walk down this little path in Little Venice and look
You know,
at
the
the flowers."
no tourists were going down.
And I kept saying, I can't imagine anybody who lives here.
He
It
was
looks sort of-
insistent that no one lived
It looks
there.
sort of make believe. And I thought maybe it was all hotels. But anyway, we wound up running into these two women that lived there. One, I don't think, spoke English, but the other one spoke English. And she was so nice. Her name was Mariana. And James said, "Oh, it must have been really hard last year with no tourists." And she was the most like zen. Tell everybody what she
No,
said.
you go ahead. Go ahead.
But she was sort of like, yes, it was hard here. She's like, but it was hard all across the world. Everyone was
Everybody
struggling.
was
Yeah,
suffering.
she was so like not like, oh my God, we lost so much business. She was just like, everyone was struggling. She was so nice
and
look how-
inviting and saying, "Oh, go, feel free to walk around and take pictures."
yeah, and they told us where to go. And then here, so there they are. So the
Yes.
woman on the
the one closest to me in the picture, she was the one who was speaking to us. And like you
Yes.
said, I don't know if was it Marina and Mariana?
I think it was Mariana.
It was
and
very
Marie-
similar.
Yeah, they were similar. But and we look how beautiful. Like doesn't it look like fake?
And
yet-
lived there for generation
Yes.
after generation. Like
she's
for
always,
multiple generations
always lived there.
living on the island.
Look how beautiful that is, man.
Right. Really stunning.
And then they're all these windmills. Isn't that pretty? All these windmills in Little Venice. I don't know what I'm looking at. I think it's my version of modeling.
Yes.
But that's one of the places we ate.
And we think that LaChance is going to be there soon because
at that restaurant.
Yeah, because do we have? We don't know if we have the picture of her. We know we have it on our.
People have got to get it together.
There it is.
Wait, guys, we are live. We keep saying we literally we flew in today. We're in New York.
Can you tell by the bags under the eyes? This is
live. We're totally here.
Well, you know what though? Let's talk though, because we're gonna do more tomorrow because tomorrow is the last of these television encore reunions, because we knew we would not be able to stay up until 10 p.m. tomorrow night or 9:30. So we'll do the intro like we're doing now, but that's going to be Desperate Housewives. But while we've got you here, you know, you can't escape COVID, you know, and so meaning in a good way, because it isn't like you're walking into some fantasy world where no one knows to wear a mask. And I felt like the people, for the most part, were really good about wearing masks. And there were many people, there was some people who said there was another island that we ran into who said another island, no one.
We're not saying it. We've been
Santorini.
Yeah.
And as if we're sponsored by Santorini.
I know.
I don't know why I'm being
weird.
So
vague.
Yeah. But that on Santorini, that people were like hardly anyone was wearing masks. But for whatever reason, maybe Mykonos is just smart because they want to keep the tourists.
Even like when we're outside where there's no mask mandate, a lot of people were wearing masks.
Yeah, and we wore masks when there's these crowded narrow streets, as you saw, and we wore the mask, and we definitely wore the masks when we went inside, and we never ate indoors. Though on our last day there, they had just begun indoor dining, which Seth and I we're not
interested.
We're especially with the Delta variant, we're not interested in that. But
no, ma'am.
But we felt like they were we did the test at home. Oh, I think we have that picture. Do we have that picture?
So in order to fly back to the US, you have to have a negative COVID test, and we weren't really clear, like, because there was a place at the airport you could do it, but anyway, we finally figured out you can get a self-test, but you can't just be like, I'm negative. You have to take it with someone watching you on video.
Yeah. You take it, and you literally we ordered it. Yeah, we ordered it, or I did all this. The airlines really aren't clear about it. It's sort of like the way the pandemic has been. It's like you get clarity, then you get confused.
Well, it's sort of like the way it is in the United States. Like every state has its own rules. Like every airline has its own rules.
And so we figured out that basically we had like the test, and we bought it, had it shipped overnight, and then we took it, and we literally, you had to log in 72 hours or closer to your flight to take the test, and you literally do it on the computer. There's someone there. You don't see them, but you hear them, and they see us. And there's Seth taking the test. Thank you, David. And it's really that simple. It's like you do everything in front of them, and you open it, and you do the swab and the whole thing, and then you show to the screen the QCR code and the test results, and then it goes on your phone, and that's what we showed this morning when we got to the airport.
Actually really easy.
Yeah, it was that part was much easier. It was the stress of not knowing how it was going to work that was the hard part. But I mean, look, we were really, I told Seth on the way here how grateful I was, grateful that we're in a country where we have the testing, because that's just by the, I don't use the word God that much, but I'd say by the grace of God that I happened to be born in the United States, because I had nothing to do with it. It's luck. And that we were able to be double vaccinated, and that we had so many frequent flyer miles, because let me tell you, if you look at our bank account, we would not have been able to fly first class, but thank you to Delta, we were able to fly for free. And thanks to our travel partner, Judy Pearl, who we do all of our cruises with, we were able to get a great situation at the Riviera Hotel, the Mykonos Riviera Hotel.
Let's show that one video before we go.
Oh yeah, well do that one. Is that the one you're talking about, Seth?
No, I thought you went over the Mykonos Riviera.
Oh well, this one that was right out on our balcony.
Oh yeah, this is the shirt that I bought, which I kind of think is too small. I don't think I can actually move in it, but I thought for like a 5-second video I could wear it.
Yes.
Seth's Big Fat Broadway Cruise, and then Seth's Big Fat Broadway Cruise. That is the Celebrity Apex, the ship we're going to be on January 2022. Come join us, Fun of the Sun and Belting.
Oh my God, I want to go back.
Already.
That's not the video I meant though, but it is really beautiful.
It is really beautiful.
And the shirt is small, but there's, just because we're talking about the Mykonos Riviera, really nice hotel we stayed at. So they, like we said, there's no way we could have afforded this room, but they upgraded us because, you know, we're scouting new locations for our Broadway cruise. So it's sort of like a travel partnership. So check out this room that we got. Fabulous room. We have, of course, yield balcony.
Here we go.
So you can see. Beautiful sight. And then this balcony's not enough. I can the hell around.
Yes.
And I go up my stairs because, you know, all hotel rooms have to have the second floor. Go out into the bright sunlight, and what? Hot tub. Private hot tub. That overlooks.
Chase lounges right there.
Shays lounges.
Sorry.
Texas. Look at that water there.
Even a better view of the water.
Have a hot tub. We got that. It's so beautiful. God, it's so interesting to look at it like now third person, whatever it's called. You know what I mean? Like not being in it.
Yeah,
It's gorgeous, man.
when we were on our way to the airport was that yesterday? Wow, that was yesterday.
We went from Mykonos to Athens last night.
Right. And the driver asked us like what we loved about the trip, and I said it was the food, because Greek food is amazing, and the people. I mean, I love the beaches, and I love the snorkeling, and I love the shopping and looking around, but really
People were really nice.
People
It wasn't
are
fake nice. It was nice.
Seth, you were really surprised about that in a way when we saw those women, and I think that
that was beyond nice. That was like so at peace. I don't know. Everyone ever spoken to just complains about how bad the pandemic was, but they were so like humanistic the way they spoke of it. I really was. I just thought it was such a lovely.
And who was the other person that you connected with? You got to tell that story.
Oh my God, how crazy is this?
And do we have a picture?
Yeah, I have a picture.
Okay, good.
So I went to go so funny. I went to go just get ice cream, and I ate the ice cream, and they had like very, very few garbage pails. So I went back to the ice cream place to throw it out. I'm like, am I allowed to do this? And as I was throwing it out, the woman was like, no. And I was like, oh my God, she's going to start up with me. She's like, no, better garbage over here. And I was like, oh. So she threw out a better garbage. Then she's like, I like your smile. By the way, wasn't smiling at all. But she's like, I like your smile. She's like, here, take a free water. And I was like, oh my God, that's so nice. So I was just like, that was nice. So then 2 days later, walking down the street with James, I hear like, hey. And I was like, oh, I'm being harassed. And I turned, it's literally the woman who runs the ice cream place. She's like, it's me. She was so sweet. And like, she remembered me from 2 nights ago. And anyway, I was like, we have to have a photo. It's like my favorite person now. Took the mask off only for the photo, put it, and I did not breathe in or out.
And by the way, it looks like it's indoors, which I guess it is, but it's basically one big door. It's like everything is open there. So yeah,
she was super nice.
Super nice. We have more pictures and another video, but let's show that.
Greek men are gorgeous. Seth. I'm Jewish. And we go on, yes.
We'll
talk about tomorrow.
We'll have more tomorrow, but we're up to $1,049,500, and that's amazing for the Actors Fund.
Yeah.
And so, of course, still donate at starsinthehouse.com or text Fund 2020 to 56512. We're going to do next.
You know what? If you donate tonight, I bet we could send it to a Frasier cast member to read it and videotape themselves.
Wow.
We could try that. So if you make some donations tonight,
I think that's a great idea, Seth.
I don't see why they wouldn't do that. I could totally see that happening.
I don't know if it'll happen by tomorrow night, but by next Tuesday, I think that's totally.
Yeah, so if you make some donations,
great idea
in Frasier's name, because they were on twice.
They were great, and they really helped lead the way for just their kindness and raising a lot of money for the Actors Fund.
And you hear them talking about maybe possibly doing a Frasier reboot, and now it's actually happening. So I don't want to say we started it, but we started it. Go to starsinthehouse.com to donate, or text Fund 2020 to 56512, and then forward a donation.
Yeah, well, and David B, good point. Bebe would for sure. Yes.
She'll read it as Lilith, blank face.
That is true. Okay, so then Seth, tomorrow we'll be doing the show from.
What is our deadline goal for 2 million? September 12th. September 12th.
Oh my gosh.
All right, guys.
All right, so we'll see you tomorrow. If anyone's in the Rochester area, I'm guessing there's still tickets, but I don't know that.
We don't know. I
fact,
haven't kept track at all. I heard at one point, because we changed that everyone has to be vaccinated, and I heard,
yeah. So that's a big. What? And you just read. What did you just read about the first?
The first Broadway
open
show.
On Broadway.
Pass over. Everyone has to be vaccinated, and if you're not, you have to show a negative.
If you're not able to get
test.
vaccinated, you have to show your negative test.
So we said
I love that they're leading the way.
Yeah, but my point is, when I said everyone's gonna be vaccinated, the producer was like, "Oh, we have to contact a lot of people because we sold a lot of tickets." So I mean, it sold well, but I don't think we're sold out. It's a big theater,
right?
All right, kids. See you all tomorrow.
And David, take it away.
It's such a process.
I don't know why I let Seth. I need to just learn it myself. It is. It's like the slowest.
Okay, this is me. I'm gonna unmute. Are we unmuted? I literally just said I'm going to unmute.
That is true.
Thank you. Hi, wait, why am I wearing a blouse?
I'm wearing something very nice, Seth.
What
Out
am
of
I
respect for the
wearing?
Frasier cast, you're wearing a
I
shirt
thought it was a nice color, but I literally think I'm gonna
that
boat neck.
needs to be ironed.
No, it was sort of that Barbara look, that Stella look in the 70s. Anybody?
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Team style.
All right. David I. Pierce. Very open.
All right. Oh, I'll go over here.
And what we got here? Jane Lee.
Hi, David.
And Kelsey Grammer. What the heck?
And here he is.
No.
Dan.
Hi. Hey, Dan. How are you, buddy? Hey.
Seth Rudetsky.
Wait, I don't know what to do.
How about that?
Here.
We're gonna try one more computer.
Why don't they catch up for a minute? And I'm gonna bring
You guys catch up. We may have to literally watch them again. So you guys,
they catch up.
just so you know,
David in New York.
So, Jane, are you back home? You were in
Yes, I'm back home. I made it back home.
Cool.
where's the computer?
How's your mom?
Good. Yeah, my brother's staying with her. Yeah.
It's
Right.
This is fun.
Oh my God. I
I
can't
was-
believe I
See your mom in June, wasn't I?
Hey, Dan. Haven't seen you in
Thank you.
It's full, so you
Look
gotta
at you guys. You look so beautiful.
kick someone else out.
Amazing.
Hey, Dan.
Oh,
Hey, sweetie. Hey, Perry.
Hi, Seth.
that's
David, Kelsey.
Hello.
How's everybody doing? Are you okay, David? Are you safe? Are you
Yeah, but Dan, are you in New York too? No, up in Vermont.
Okay, hold on, guys. We have to kick someone off so we can start a new live stream. So just, Dan Butler, I'm going to bring you back in 2 minutes.
Great.
This has never happened before. The
Okay.
more Emmys, the more problems. Hold on, here we go.
Too many people.
Big Kelsey.
Yeah, sure.
So now you try.
Kelsey, how did you figure it out?
It wasn't as hard as I thought. And I also have a full staff of, tech support.
For kids, right?
Yeah, right. It's funny. I don't spend any time on my phone anymore because my 3-year-old steals it.
Yeah.
That's basically his phone. So that's
Darn.
that's a great
That noise.
then. Great. So,
Well, anyway.
and Perry, you both were in Malibu then, right?
I'm in Malibu.
Jane is. We're in Westlake.
Oh, I didn't know you'd made that move.
Yeah, we did.
How about that? It's nice up
It is. It is.
there. No, I like it. Yeah.
It's easy. There's like if you need to go get something.
Yeah, no, it's like living in America. It's something weird, like Hollywood.
Today,
I can go actually get things.
Now,
I think we can hear you now.
okay.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody. Okay.
There,
So,
can you hear us?
Now, did we actually kick Dan off?
no, he's coming back, though. I told him to get the help. So wait, this.
Temporary.
This off.
Just saw someone walk behind you.
Who was that, Perry? Was that Christian?
Stella.
Stella. Hi, Stella. Hi, Stella.
Hi.
Go ahead. First of all.
I told him not to do that. That's so cute. It's fine. I don't mind. I don't think. Do you?
Minds.
Yay! Okay, hold on. Who the hell is that?
Well, we can start and then
More fun than I've had in a long time.
Yeah.
I feel bad for America.
Oh, that's Christian. Oh my God.
I get no respect.
Okay, here I go. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask you to text somebody.
Now you've started something.
Kelsey Grammer.
That's true.
Yeah.
Can you? I want to go back before
No,
Frasier.
no,
She's busy.
I
What craziness there is now.
Okay, Kelsey Grammer. Just before Frasier, in terms of Cheers, how did you get Cheers in the first place?
I was doing Sunday in the Park with George with Mandy Patinkin.
Hold on.
Okay. Very good. You're encyclopedic. Apparently Mandy had lunch with Gretchen Rennell, who was the casting director back then at the Gulf and Western building, which is now the Trump Hotel, I guess. But anyway, she said she was looking for, sort of leading men who are funny. And Mandy said, Kelsey Grammer's funny. That's basically how it happened. And then
there was no going to studio, going to network, all that long process thing.
Well, there was a bit of a process. There was I had to read for it, and I got sides. I wasn't very familiar with what sides were at the time. They swore me to secrecy. I had to sign for them, and they said it was like sort of industrial espionage, like you're going to be Diane's boyfriend. And of course, I didn't know who Diane was. It didn't really have a lot of impact.
Weren't you understudying though? Weren't you understudying on? Weren't you understudying?
I was understudying in Hurly Burly, yeah.
And didn't you have to talk Mike Nichols into letting you go audition?
Sunday Department George, and then I was understudying Bill Hurt and Christopher Walken in Hurly Burly.
Mm.
And when they finally made the offer, which was about a month later, Mike Nichols would not let me out. And he said to me, as I called him from the hotel phone in the lobby of the Carlyle, he said, "A television show does not a career make."
Well, there you go.
You know what? In any other instance, that might have been true. But
Only time he was ever wrong.
It's no biggie. But finally, a friend of mine actually filled him in that it was actually more than one appearance on a show. It was actually sort of a limited run, 7 episodes, which of course then turned into
a million.
10 years. Yeah. Something like 500.
Kelsey, in the end, by the time Frasier went off the air, how many years had you played the character Frasier?
20.
Has I guess Mariska Hargitay maybe has now surpassed that? But
I think so. They're going to be on forever. Doesn't what's his name on NCIS? Hasn't been doing that for about 57 years now.
Okay.
Yeah,
we still say it's you.
So it's a feather in the hat that goes away.
We want to just start from the beginning, by the way, and thank David Hyde Pierce. David Hyde Pierce is basically the den mother who called everybody.
Yes.
Who got everyone to say yes to this. And the reason I know David, I want to go back with you for a second, is you were on Caroline in the City as it was like a one-show appearance, right?
Yep. At a guest star appearance, because my then partner, now husband, was writing on the show.
And they were the role. He was a CPA, and in order not to audit this woman that was in Cats, she agreed to get him an audition for Cats.
He'd always dreamed of being in the musical Cats, and so they made up a fake audition for him just so he would let her off the hook for her taxes.
And I was good friends with Marco Panette, who created that show, and he asked me to write the song. So David, for funsies, I brought a little bit of your performance from Caroline in the City. This is David's musical theater debut as a CPA auditioning for Cats.
I help you with deductions, I know all the latest tricks. But in my mind, I'm doing sassy high kicks. Me That's how I get from 9 to 5. 6, 5, 6.
Impressive.
It's amazing that I ever worked again, or that you did.
Hold on, there's more.
I don't need a tax shelter. I'm a Broadway belter. I don't want your pity. Just wanna be a kitty. And then I'll give up 9 to 5. Hairball.
Oh,
Excellent.
young.
Amazing.
Yeah, that was so upsetting. Thank you.
I would say it was a brilliant performance. Okay, so I want to go back to Kelsey for a second. I'm going to bring you on. So Kelsey, you were playing this role on Cheers, and they said, let's do a sequel to Cheers, like the Ropers from Three's Company, where you like, forget it, there was always bomb. Like, what was your thoughts about it?
My original thought was that Frasier should die with Cheers, and that we should do something else. And I listened to a very wise man named John Pike at the time. We wrote a script. We wrote a script that was funny, I thought. The guys at Grub Street, thought it was funny too. And John Pike took me to dinner and he said, I read the script. I think a sitcom should be funny. Okay. And so he said, I want you to play Frasier.
Wow.
So that's how it all happened.
And then,
yeah, I guess you're right.
And then Jane leaves. Did you have to audition with a bunch of people? Was it just offered to you? How'd you get the gig?
No, David got it right off. Jane, I auditioned with Jane. Perry was a sort of a replacement, a sort of an 11th hour replacement, because we knew Perry had done a Cheers episode. Well, like the year before, right, Perry?
Almost a few weeks before, right?
Oh, yeah. So,
yeah.
And we just thought, you know what? She's an actress. She knows what she's doing. We'll be able to get her, she's going to be able to pull off this part, because the girl that was playing it was having real trouble with it. And we thought, well, it's kind of quirky and fun. Maybe this is going to really work out. And it just never did. And so things went fine for her on Friends. So it's okay.
We all know who the girl is.
Jane, at first I said, they said, well, we found this wonderful English actress, blah, 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 blah. And I started thinking, oh my God, what is it, Nanny and Professor? And, because that was a show back at that time. And so I was a little nervous about that. So I said, mind if I come in and meet her? And they said, no, of course not. So we met and we talked, and I walked out and I said, yeah, she's good.
He drove up in his big red Corvette, and I was sitting on the steps outside of the offices, and this big red Corvette drove up, and he bounced out. And
it did have a big red Corvette
with him, and it was fantastic.
It was a great car. I wish I'd just driven off with you then.
Did you grow up in the UK, Jane?
Sorry, Darren?
Did you grow up in the UK?
Yes, mostly. I think I actually grew up here. I was sort of 22 when I got here. My sort of formative years, I suppose, were here.
But do you think there's a difference in the British sitcoms that you grew up with compared to the American sitcom that you became so famous with? Was there a difference in style?
Some things are different, but not really. I think funny is just funny, and silly. English sitcoms tend to be a bit sillier sometimes, but we certainly had those silly moments on Frasier, and I think it's just, I think comedy is something you just get or you don't, and I learned so much working with these geniuses, really.
Yeah. And David Hyde Pierce, you were such a theater actor. Did you ever think, a lot of people just use theater as a stepping stone for TV. Were you aiming for TV, or did it just sort of happen?
No, it was an accident. I actually, I had been happily doing theater, and Brian, my husband, had been an actor, and he had always wanted to try writing for television. So I only went out to LA because he needed to go out there because that's where the writing was. And I thought, I got to find out if I can even stand it out here. And I got another show that didn't run very long. But based on that, that's where the casting director and I think the writers for Frasier had seen me. And And so that's what led to it. But no, and honestly, as soon as the show finished, I came back to the theater. But working with so many theater people in the show, and the show is written so much like a play each week that I felt right at home.
So let me ask you something. When you read the script, did you think this character is so similar to Frasier? How is it going to work?
Yeah. What happened was I met with the creators of the show and the casting director, Jeff Greenberg, and then I went home and called my agent, and I said I thought it went well, and she said, well, it did go well because they offered you the part.
Wow.
But I hadn't read a script, and then when they sent me the script, I thought, well, this is terrible. Because reading Frasier and Niles, I thought they'd written two of the same character. What a stupid thing to do, which was one of the first of my many great insights about the show. It seemed to work out. And by the way, I want to say, because Brian is a writer and was at this, while we were doing Frasier, he was writing on other shows. And so often a script would come in and we'd read it for the first time and there would be no laughs because the writers didn't write jokes. They wrote to the characters. And then we'd go in and have the table read, and we'd all sit around and read the script, and I'd go home afterwards and Brian would say, how did it go? And I'd say, oh, it went really well. They said, we don't have to rehearse today. And he would like throw things around the room because it was like, it's such hard work for writers, but we were so blessed.
Yeah. And Perry, just thinking back on how long, probably 10 years, do you have any like amazing line that you completely were obsessed with saying?
Oh my God, so many. My favorite line from Frasier is not, you have the right idea. My favorite line from Frasier is mine. It was the he said, look out, he's got a nug.
Yeah, that was a great one. Yeah. I still say it.
That's my fault. But my favorite line, I can't even remember. But thank you for asking. I'll remember it by the end.
David or Kelsey, did you have a moment that you remember Perry saying something and thinking it was brilliant?
No.
No, Perry was always just great. I mean, they wrote some great stuff for her because the character was, most of the laughs that came out of Roz's mouth were character laughs.
Yeah.
What her sex life was.
Present. And when we end Edward Hibbert's character.
That was great.
We started talking about his wife. And Dan Butler and I were on the set with Edward and Kelsey, and we were all on the set, and he says, my wife, and we go, your wife? And we go, I got to say, I think we thought
when he said, what is it, Meg or Bev or something, it was
Deb
on maneuvers this weekend. I thought.
Yeah.
It was so silly and wonderful.
One of my favorite lines, it wasn't even a line, it was just the way you said it, Kelsey, was I stepped in something that I can only imagine was an old burrito. I'm always saying that. I'm saying that in my life all the time.
I still do.
Say it.
I can't. You need to. I say I'll get it all the time.
I'll get it. Oh,
remember that? It never made it in the show, but we rehearsed it for a couple of days where we were playing a crossword. We were playing Scrabble.
Yes.
I insisted, or you insisted that the word "geb" was a word, G-E-B.
Yeah.
No way, I'll get it. So
I'll get it.
It haunts me still.
I have one for all of us, which was, there was an episode, and actually this is one, Perry, where you were great, because it was one where Roz had an affair with a young man and was going to have a baby, and all the emotions of all that. But his parents were coming to the apartment, and she was going to meet them for the first time, and she was so nervous. And Frasier said to her, think of it this way, this is the genetic material of your child. You'll get a glimpse of what your child might be. And he opens the door, and there they are, and they each have the biggest noses that anyone has ever seen. They have prosthetic noses on. And so as the characters, but also as the actors, we were trying to not react to these giant noses. And at one point, they're sitting there, and we've all got it together, and Eddie the dog comes running in. And the wife says, oh, you have a dog. And John Mahoney says, yes, do you have a dog? And she says, yes, we have two giant schnauzers. if you see the episode, we never got through it. Even in the one that they finally aired, they had to cut while we're all just like spewing mucus.
It's
out of our
They said, "Can you smell that?" No, Frasier goes, "Smell that," or can they smell that? And John says, "In Japan."
We can smell it from
John.
I know.
We have our Bulldog is here. Hold on.
Yes, come on.
Well,
You guys are hilarious.
you have like the Ritz
Yes.
background. Wow. Where are you? Like,
Hello.
So, Tim, by the way, if people talk at the same time, it keeps cutting everybody out. So what I keep saying is you have to act like a newscaster and just be like, and nod politely and then speak. So, Dan Butler, how did you get the job?
It was very strange because I think Jeff Greenberg saw me in Terrence McNally's wonderful play Lisbon Traviata, which I'm going, how did he bring me in for Bulldog from that? But I remember going in on a first audition and the character was just sketched out. It was not even what it ended up to be. And when I came back to the callback, it was so brilliantly written. I'm just saying, well, everyone is going to knock this out of the park. I mean, it's just great. And I said, well, what have I got to lose? Just completely go for it and have a blast and embarrass yourself. And I just had a blast. It was one of those times, one of the few times in an audition where I go, they'd be crazy not to cast me. And because it's so rare that I feel like that. And I'm going, well, I had a blast and we'll see. And it was fun. It was so fun.
What was your favorite practical joke that you played during the show?
Oh gosh, my mind's blanking. It's
David had
you would ask everyone a favorite line. And I've just got to say, I remember, I think it was the last show. It was in 1999, and Perry and I I finally told her I loved her, and I was trying to scare away all her boyfriends, and we were doing a run through, and there's a section where she tricks me to take all my clothes off and get out on the balcony. And standing there, David Angel, God bless him, came up with a joke at that moment, and which was, Roz, open up. It's freezing out here, as you can plainly see. And I thought it was so brilliant and classy and funny. And I go, it was just great. So
that you remember. Okay, yeah. So I'm gonna bring on two special guest stars. So I have to, we can only have 6 on at a time. So I have to extend 2 people. So Perry, I'm gonna bring you back. Don't go nowhere. And then Stan, I'm gonna bring you back. Don't go nowhere. And then I'm gonna bring on 2 special guest stars to say hello. Perhaps you remember your friend Tom.
Hey! Tom, how are you?
Very good. Hi, Seth and James.
Hi, Tom.
Hi, Kelsey, David.
Great to see you, man.
It's great to see you.
I'm going to bring on one more Broadway/TV pal, our pal, Miss Harriet Harris.
Hi.
Harriet.
Oh, God.
Harriet, reposition that camera. I've never seen worse camera work.
It's the first time in my life I couldn't find a camera.
There you go. There you go.
Harriet and I just did a play together.
And we were wonderful.
What was it?
It was at the Park Avenue Armory, a play called Judgment Day.
Oh.
And Harriet stole it.
I love that building.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, it's big. The director said he wanted us to be 4 times bigger than we'd ever been in any play. And I thought, oh, he doesn't mean me. He can't mean me.
Harriet, how old do you actually think your character was? Because I was noticing, at the very end, it's like your son is 40. And it's like, wait, what?
I don't think you can believe anything she says. So I really think she was probably about 22.
Exactly.
Everyone's going to nod politely. Okay. I keep asking everybody, Harriet Harris, how did you get the gig?
Jeff Greenberg. Jeff Greenberg came to see a play that Paul Rudnick wrote called Jeffrey. A bunch of us had done it in New York, and we all went out to California, and it was very exciting. And we were having the time of our lives. And then some people started actually wanting us to audition, and we never thought that would happen. And Jeff brought me in, and it's a sort of a pre-screen. And then he said, I don't do this, but they're in a writer's session, but I'm taking you over to the writers right now. And he called and he said, and for God's sake, brush your hair. So we went over, and everybody laughed a lot. And I thought, well, I don't quite understand Hollywood. I don't know what this means. And then by the time I'd driven home, I had the job. So it was so lovely. And I had the time of my life, guys. It was always so much fun. And it's so delightful seeing you here.
It's lovely.
Tell me, what's one of your favorite memories of working with Harriet? Uh-oh.
My favorite memory is doing a scene from Streetcar Named Desire when we were both 18 years old.
Yes, darling.
Yeah. I also have a long history with Harriet. We did theater together for many years before Frasier, out at the Guthrie, and we did. She was Ophelia, and I was Laertes in Kevin Kline's Hamlet at the Public. We've done a lot.
It was always an occasion when Harriet showed up, and when Tom showed up.
Yeah. That is true.
Yeah, you all made us feel like that too.
Tom, it's so funny. The other day, I've got a little picture framed of that day when we walked by the blowhole on Maui.
Oh.
Yeah, I was just looking at it. My wife asked me, when was this taken? I said, that was when I was walking around with Tom. You met me, he played the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
Yeah. No, it's really, it's terrific. It just brought back a rush of wonderful memories.
Wonderful, yeah.
So, Tom, you're doing Wicked now all the time, right?
Well, I haven't done it in a couple of years now, but they've been very good to me. I've done it on and off in London, New York, on tour. They've been very good to me. So, yes. And my Frasier story is that I auditioned for Jeff for a 1 episode. Kenny was supposed to be there for 1 episode. His character got fired at the end of the show. It was a season finale. And I was like, well, that was a blast. Because, of course, the cast was so incredible. The writing, Kelsey, I remember after the table read, you reached out to me and you said, don't worry, they'll fix it. And I said, it's the best half hour I've ever read. Fix it. And the next day I came in and I had 3 scenes, but I still got fired. And I just thought, well, that was great. And at the beginning of the next season, they said, all the people that were fired are going to have a picnic.
Right.
And I went to New York and I was doing Chicago with Bebe. And then they called again and they said they want to now have you be the station master. And all of a sudden it turned into 6 years of work on, one of the best shows of all time. So it really changed my life. It's just amazing.
When you got fired, was it the one where suddenly KACL was going to be an all Latin channel for a while or something?
Yeah, originally the show ended with me getting fired, and then they rewrote it so that you stood up for me and got everybody fired.
Right, exactly. That's exactly right.
Oh, yes. Someone's writing in Christine Baranski is talking
Laura.
My Lord.
It's a random thing. Okay,
Can I just say, though, that's Jeff Greenberg, who was our casting director. He cast all of New York Theater in that show. James Earl Jones was in it. Christine Baranski. I mean, I can't even name them. Everybody. Incredible.
So hold on, I have a question, but this keeps moving. I have a question. Kelsey, everyone keeps talking about this so-called reboot. What the hell's going on with that?
Well, it's just something we've been kicking around. Right now, this is it.
How's it going?
This is what we've been doing. It's not a sure thing. It's just, but we're hoping.
Well, I'm loving the script. Harriet Harris, do you have any favorite amazing moment that you got to play?
I was not on the show all that frequently, but I always had something tremendous to do. I got to do like 1 a season sometimes, and maybe some seasons I wasn't on, but it was always delightful. And she was I think there was just maybe enough of her to have her every once in a while. But it was, I got to stand on a ledge of a building. I got to ride donkeys. I got to come out of a hotel room with smoke all around me. I got to marry a dead man. it was all thrilling. Every time it was going to be something. And a lot of that was due to Joe Keenan. And, you know, all the writers were so wonderful, but he particularly, I think, delighted in the idea that Bebe could be as bad as anybody wanted to be. So, and everybody was always on board with that. But it was a, you know, but truly the most favorite thing is just getting to be with everybody. Bebe was this wonderful excuse to get to be among all these people. And it was delightful the first time I saw Kelsey again after school to see each other and to be with David, having done a play with him. And I met Perry years ago. And it was always so much fun. I just thought it's a great group. So
it was that green room.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Why? What was the green room?
It was just like a backstage at a theater. We had a little green room. Instead of trailers, a lot of shows had trailers outside the studio. We had actual dressing rooms, a physical green room where you could sit around the table. And
that's what we did.
Yeah.
We were never.
If I could say, the irregular cast was so welcoming to everyone who came in. Everyone was welcome at the green room. There were so many laughs. I still see John Mahoney sitting at his chair. And, you know, John knew so much about music, so much about all types of music. And for the years I was on the show, John and I would discuss rap music. And everyone else would roll their eyes. But John loved all types of music. I was into rap at that point. So we'd be talking about Ludacris and Eminem. And I remember Jane walking in and rolling her eyes at us. Like, what are these guys talking about?
Okay, we got to bring back Dr. Jon LaPook for our break. First of all, I love that you guys obviously love each other so much. It's so great to see this loving energy. Okay, so I'm going to say goodbye to Tom and Harriet. I love that you guys made your guest appearances. Thank you.
Goodbye.
Great to see you.
So great to
see you all. Thank you, Seth.
Harriet, it's so great to see you as usual.
Bye-bye.
See you on my radio show, I'm sure. Okay, and then hold on, how about I do this? I go like that. Okay, so then Dr. Jon LaPook's going to call back in just a moment. But before he does, let me bring back one more fun little special guest star. Hold on, I got to bring back Perry, by the way. Perry's going to come back.
Perry. Dr. Jon.
You know, my friend who I did a Broadway show with, the adorable Mr. Patrick Kerr.
Hi. Hey, how you doing? Hi. Hi, you guys. Hello.
Hi, Patrick.
Hi, Perry. Hi, David. Hi, Jane. Hi, Kelsey.
Hi, buddy.
Yeah.
So, Patrick, are you really obsessed with Star Trek?
No.
You were acting?
No, I don't. No, I don't. Yeah, and people, people would assume that. I did an episode of Star Trek though. Which one? Voyager. The one with Janeway. Is that Voyager? I did an episode of that. And,
was that before or after us?
Oh,
during. It was during. Somewhere in the middle of it or something like that. And I was playing some alien, and they at first when I auditioned for it, they wanted like some sort of like mind guy, some little like kind of Wally Cox kind of thing. But then by the time though it was done, they wanted like James Earl Jones, and I couldn't do it. And they kept
That's not true. If you sure
real age, I gotta say.
They wanted, and I tried to give my best like drama school kind of like voice, but it's still not enough.
Patrick, say this is CNN.
This is CNN.
It's perfect.
Hard. Hi, Perry. You look so pretty. Oh my God.
Thank you, Patrick.
Yeah. Anyway.
Handsome.
And we did the Ritz together, the revival of the Ritz at the Ritz.
How can I do that? And one of my absolute idols is Joe Keenan. Like literally, the reason I write books is because of Joe Keenan, and because of Patrick, he came to the Ritz. Remember, I almost passed out when I met him. Yeah. We do have this wonderful lady. This one is Bebe Neuwirth. Hi, Bebe.
Hi, everybody. So
Bebe,
so great to see you all. I love you all so
great to see you.
Where are you, Bebe? It's a different locale than the last time you were on.
Last time you had your bar.
Oh, yeah. That's with 2 R's. No, this is I'm in my apartment.
It's stunning.
Is that tansu next to you?
What's that?
Is that a tansu chest?
That is a step tansu.
Beautiful.
Oh, thank you very much.
Even in real life, he's the same character. So, Bebe, you told me years ago that there it goes. That I feel like Bob Fosse was sort of responsible for you playing Lilith in the first place.
Yeah.
So, can you talk about that?
Well, I was doing. When I first appeared on Cheers, it also was like Tom. It was just one episode or a little bit of an episode. Remember, Kels, there was that little part, and then it was a date that went badly, and then Jenny Tilly came on, Candy with an eye, like Gandhi.
Right.
And so they would bring me back every once in a while to come on, and I was doing Sweet Charity on Broadway, and they said, could you come on and do like a bunch of episodes on the show Cheers? And I remember I was sitting backstage with Michael Rupert, and he goes, what are you going to do when they ask you to be on that show? I said, they're not going to ask me to be on it. I just go and I do it. He goes, no, they're going to ask you to be on the show. And so I didn't know what to do because like David and probably all of you, Jane, hi Perry, like you guys, I never set out to be on television, and I just wanted to keep dancing on Broadway. And so I didn't know what to do when they offered it to me. So I asked a couple of people what they thought, and two of the people I got opinions from were Gwen Verdon and Bob Fosse. I said, I got offered this job. I don't know what to do. I mean, it's a great part. It's a great show and all that, but I just want to dance. And so they both, in a very thoughtful way, advised me that I would be okay. If I did this television job, it would be all right. And I would go back to theater. In fact, Bob said, Bob told me I was like Jack Klugman. He said, you're a theater rat. You'll come back to the theater.
It's good to get in and ask Mike Nichols.
You know what? Oh, this reminds me. There was a story there. I was at a one of those. I think it was the New Dramatist Guild had an event, and they were honoring Neil Simon, and I was sitting with Gwen because I don't know. Maybe it was around Damn Yankees time, and Neil was giving this amazing speech about how one of the actors from his play that he was doing was going to leave and to do some television. And Neil Simon said, so I said what I said to any of my actors when they leave a play. I said, good luck with your pilot.
By the way, it's so wonderful. Look at this awesome comment we just got.
So many amazing comments right here.
This is so incredibly heartwarming. Didn't even realize how much I needed this until now. Emotional.
Look at that. Realized with an S. So it's probably another person overseas, right?
Okay, so before we go, I would just love to have each of you say one of your fondest memories of doing the show. Either the funniest or what makes you emotional. Jane, you're British.
Yes, I don't do emotion. No, I do. I mean, it's the people, just to see those faces when you went to work every morning. John Mahoney would be sitting down this long corridor where our green room was. We could see John sitting there. He was the first one there every morning. I was the second. David would come in. It was just the routine of it. It was such a family. And we were so excited to have these guest stars come in each week who were fabulous. And I mean, it was an amazing experience. And also when David, we thought he'd killed himself and he came out of the bathroom with the hot and foamy stuff on.
Yes.
When the shaving thing exploded and you were covered in foam.
Right.
That was one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
Perry, what about you, love?
Well, the green room and coming in every morning, David and Jane and John and Kelsey think being on time means being like 15 minutes early. And my idea of being on time is to be just under 5 minutes late. So we were always just a little bit at odds with that timing. But But I remember coming in every morning, and I think my favorite just overall memory is after the years went by, we used to say, "How big will Kelsey get?" And wasn't it the episode where the Betty Davis line, "A rug where a rug doesn't belong." Like, he did it. He has gone over the top.
There's, in that vein, actually, my favorite was I bought a Hungarian goose for dinner, and someone said, "Why don't you just bring your goose?" And I said, "It's not my date, it's dinner." It just got bigger and bigger. For me, the best moments are, and I hang on to them. They are fresh always. Still, has been a moment when I fell in love with all of you, like fell in love, and it's specific to each of you. And what's so remarkable is it happened again and again and again in a quiet moment that I would sit and think, "Dear God, they're wonderful," and just be completely wrapped in this love that I have to this day.
Amazing. Bebe Neuwirth, top that.
I can't, but I feel the same way, and it was such a beautiful experience each time I came in. I only did one episode per season. I had to miss one season, but I always felt in just everything hilarious, fun, warm, but I was also always very, very moved in some way at some point during some episode. Frequently, it was Kelsey. It was something that we did together where it was just really went to a very transcendent moment. It was just it was bigger than us.
Yeah.
It was really something. But it was just a very full, beautiful, wonderful job. And then if I can just say, a hilarious thing was Thanksgiving. I'll never forget the Thanksgiving when David, you were the only one on stage. You looked for the turkey. You opened it. It wasn't there. You looked again, and then you looked up.
It's incredible. It's I'm going back, Kels, to what you said. Also, I think we're all very mindful of the fact that we had someone who was, so to speak, the star, who took such pleasure in the work of everyone else, of us, of the guest stars and everything. Because there's a lot of people who, would say, the light is on me, find what light you can. You so did that. And you didn't do that because you have such beautiful confidence in your gifts that you're not worried about having other talented people around you. You encourage that. And I think between that one thing and the incredible skill of our writers, that's why we went so long. That's why Beebs, that, a simple scene between the two characters was never a simple scene. It always
it's beautiful.
Depth and richness. And can I just show you one quick thing? Because I brought this, because this is one of my favorite episodes. I don't even remember what episode it is, but I just want to show this. Our casting director did this. So let's see if you can see. Hold on, let me get this right so you can see it. So that is my dad, and in the middle is Jane's mom, and next to her is Perry's mom. And back there you can see John Mahoney and Kels. This is a scene at McGinty's bar, and all three of them happened to be there in the audience, and Jeff Greenberg brought them up and stuck them in as extras. And that just is an example of what much of a family the show was.
We decided we would let the fans ask the questions today, and there are so many. Seth, do you want to just dive right in?
Yes, this is a fun one. This is from Brianna. Did any of y'all, I assume she's from the South, did any of y'all take a souvenir from the set? If so, what was it? Kelsey, why are you cackling?
I'll tell you in a minute.
Okay, James.
I think I win.
We had walls and walls in our green room of pictures that had been taken throughout the seasons. And I just grabbed the ones that meant the most to me off the wall there. But that was it. What did you get, Kelsey?
That was it. By the way, that's called theft. Kelsey,
Yeah.
what about you, dear?
I took the piano.
No one ever noticed.
I wondered what that was. I did have to pay Steinway for it because remember they gave it to us, but when I said I wanted it, they said, "Well, that'll be $1,000." I said, "Okay, I'm paying it." So I've got it sitting in the house in Palm Springs with all your lovely signatures in it.
Oh wow!
Oh, that's right. I took
forgot that we signed it.
my headphones.
It's actually very cool. It's quite a conversation piece.
Kelsey,
I do have
do
the
you-
microphone that sat on the, hello, I'm listening. That thing.
Kelsey, do you play piano?
Yes, but not as well as David Hyde Pierce does.
No, he plays beautifully. He plays beautifully.
I have a sort of a self-taught, navigational system.
Perry, are you not revealing what you stole because you're scared the statute of limitations hasn't passed, or?
Yes, I'm hiding it. No, I just took my headphones. I actually was about to leave, and my husband grabbed them and said, "You need to take these with you." So I have my little headphones, and they're in a beautiful plastic box that I had made.
That's nice. You have it displayed. And David Hyde Pierce?
I took some pictures like Jane did. I bought at like half price, I guess, some clothes which at the time were fantastic and now are completely dated. And then I took our script supervisor, Gabby, and I just grabbed her. She's in a closet at home because we just couldn't live without her.
You know how people wears purple, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh yeah. There was a question here. Hold on. Here's from a viewer watching. What do you miss most about filming Frasier?
These guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
laughing every day.
Yeah.
Just laughing all the time.
And it was love, so it's nice to be immersed in love for your living, it's a nice thing.
And I think we can all say we miss Mahoney.
Yeah.
We do.
John Mahoney.
John Mahoney, your dad.
You know what? That was a question from someone, and actually from Australia, from Sam. What was your favorite scene or memory with John Mahoney?
Oh, well, mine's like she was shopping for throw pillows or something that he said. I forget what the line was. And then he turned it into another thing. So she came down the ladder like an alabaster porpoise. That's another thing he said. I was going, what the hell? So he just had gone like completely off.
Do you remember when they put like that? They put Korean words for something for like a town where he'd been in the Korean War.
Punjab, yeah.
Yeah, and they kept putting longer and longer, and he'd go away and learn it perfectly, and they would kill him.
Yeah, it was very funny. He was just always funny, honestly. I mean,
I remember the ham radio episode, and John and I were like the two old men in the box on the Muppet Show, sitting there commenting on the whole thing. We just spent the whole time laughing.
I remember you said, "It's a bloodbath."
One of the scenes, because I was looking through clips to show, because David Katz, who is our tech supervisor, I said, go back and look at the episode that we did back in March. And I said, to see what clips we use. And he was like, really didn't show any clips. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm going to look for fun clips to show. And this one was, it brought up memories of watching the show myself. And it's a beautiful scene. We can only show up to like half a minute because of YouTube reasons, but I want to play this and talk about it on the other side. It's between Kelsey and John.
I think you can do anything you put your mind to, Frasier. You always have.
Thank you, Dad.
I just wonder about all these projects.
Well, as I said, I am streamlining.
I think what you discovered this week was that something's missing from your life. And before you start to fill it up with everything but the kitchen sink, I think you ought to just ask yourself, what do I really want? What is really going to make me happy? Now.
Such great advice.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting. I forget why I had the cut on my nose. But I think that was anyway.
Yeah.
I think that actually might have been right after I came out of rehab. Which is pretty interesting. Yeah, so it's sort of had a bit of a double-edged sword on it, actually, which was kind of a good thing.
Well,
I think I was just going to say that's such a great example with John of, he could be as wacky and wild and huge in his comedy and stuff, and it was seamless the way he would also just be like that, just with such sincerity and he was amazing guy.
Yeah, he had another wonderful scene where he talked about what he would say to a woman he was interested in, and I thought, boy, that's about the nicest. I mean, obviously the writers wrote it, but the way John delivered it was, I'm going to ask her out. If I enjoy her company, I'm going to ask her out again. It was almost like watching that movie Marty. It was just like he was so beautiful in it, and that simple thing was like, who wouldn't just fall in love with this guy? And that was him. That was it.
Kelsey and David, you're both from the theater. Were you aware of his work before you got to work with him on the TV show? Because he was such a big Broadway person.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was aware of him because of that extraordinary performance in Moonstruck, where he plays that professor, and I think he lit the whole world on fire with that little scene. Everybody was like, who is this guy? And of course, I knew a little bit about his theater work, but that was really more the impression that I held. And even years later, I directed a scene where Ileana Douglas was guest starring, and I told her to basically rip off John's performance in that movie. I said, just remove all evidence of him. And it's a direct lift from that film because it's just so good. And I mean, God, he was good in that. And then when Olympia Dukakis looks at him and says, "You're all little boys, aren't you?" He was definitely that.
We have a question from a viewer, from Steve Ortiz. Were there table reads? If so, can the cast talk about the initial reactions to the episode where Frasier inadvertently, quote unquote, dates his male boss?
Right. What was that? Was that called Matchmaker? Was that
Yes, I think so.
Matchmaker, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, because you were supposed to set him up with Daphne,
Right.
not realizing that he was in love with. He thought it was a date with him.
Right. Yes. And and Niles spills the beans halfway through the dinner or something. Right?
Dad in the kitchen. Yes, and Eric Lutz was the one for that.
Wonderful performance. He did a great job with that. Yeah. What was the question?
Were there table reads, and what was the reaction when you first read that episode?
We were always table reads, and that was just funny.
We thought it was hilarious. There was,
Yeah.
There was always a lot of laughter during table reads.
Yeah.
Who was the main writer? Who was the showrunner?
Well, originally it was David Lee and David Angel and Peter Casey, and then Christopher Lloyd, who went on to do Modern Family, was one of our lead writers. Joe Keenan. Who else?
I think the baton was sort of passed to Christopher Lloyd and Joe Keenan, I think, and then it went to
Dan O'Shannon ran it one year.
I used to call him one of the Baloney brothers. That was years ago. But that came from a Cheers reference when he and his writing partner joined Cheers, and they were like kids from the Midwest, and they liked bologna sandwiches. And Glenn Charles, I think, called them Baloney brothers.
Niles and Daphne. But Niles and Daphne, did you guys know when you began doing the show there was going to be a love thingy going on, or did that develop as the season progressed? Oh, yes, David. What?
No, it was Jane. Jane said we were at a photo shoot, or like early on before I think we'd done I don't even know if we'd done any episodes. We were doing a photo shoot, and she said, "Oh, it'd be fun if like a romance developed between our characters or something," and we just sort of started like leaning on each other in the photo shoot. And subsequently, they had that idea. I don't know if that's where they got it, but
I just had this image of Daphne under the sink fixing the plumbing, and Niles standing in the doorway with a martini admiringly. Sort of the role reversal.
Wishing he was the plumber.
They're so different from each other.
Yes, definitely.
Yes, Opposites attract, according to this clip.
You're a pretentious snob with your wine and your opera.
Well, you never give opera a chance. You're too judgmental.
And you're a clean freak.
Well, I hate your unicorn collection.
And I hate that your closet is bigger than mine.
Well, you're too tall.
You're too short.
Well,
I had forgotten that one.
I just had my daughter.
Oh, yeah. That was fun.
You know, speaking of that, this is interesting. This is from @Stills Nash. I've heard that 2 endings were shot for the Something Borrowed, Something Blue episode, the one where Daphne and Niles finally confessed their feelings to each other. Is that true?
No. No, not that I know of.
No.
There's a whole Frasier conspiracy site, which I guess it's a Q Frasier. So I guess there's just a lot of.
That's hilarious. You know, I realized when I was looking at the clips that there aren't that many TV shows that have dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet baby.
Was his name Eddie for real, or did he have a different name?
Moose.
First dog was Moose.
Yeah.
Moose. What's it like working with a dog on set? I know all of you have worked on other shows, but what's it like? This one, if there was a dog on set, he would never get any work done.
Oh my God,
so,
we have 4. I'm obsessed with dogs. It would have been very difficult for me. Yeah, what was it like? Did you have to, train him and say no? I would never say no to my doggie.
No, they come with a trainer, and hopefully you're actually working with the trainer, with Matilda Cagney, who was wonderful. Obviously, did a lot of films with that dog. I think he was he also the dog in The Mask?
I think so, yeah.
I think he did The Mask.
And he had another movie where he was the actual star of the movie.
The actual star, I know. And he actually flew first class, apparently. And that was, I had that written into my contract after I heard that.
There you go. So cute. Okay.
Look at that baby. Was there ever a take that was ruined because of the doggy?
Sure. Absolutely.
Yes.
But also, some takes were made because of the dog. I mean, there was a scene where he was supposed to jump off the couch and just run into the back. He jumped off the couch, slammed into it, and was sort of disorientated, and then went running off. And that stayed in. There were times when he'd be on his back on the couch going, arr, 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 arr. And they'd keep it because it was so funny.
Yeah. I remember in the first season, there was a sequence of shows where they discovered that the dog was really good at doing various tricks. So they would give him a new one. They'd write a new thing for him each week. And then there was one finally where all he had to do was come running in from the bedroom with the Barbie doll in his mouth. And he came running in and went completely insane. This was in front of the live audience as we're filming, and ran through every trick that he had learned for the last 5 episodes. He just short-circuited. And so they took a step back after that.
That's when Eddie had his famous nervous breakdown.
That's right. Yeah.
He made all the tabloids.
It was a little baby Jane.
For a month and a half.
Poor baby. Perry, you have a lot of the sexy questions.
I noticed that.
Perry.
Where are they coming from?
This is from someone named Pelin, Pelin. In my mind, there is no question that Roz also enjoyed the company of women. What are your thoughts on Bye Roz?
Well, if that is how you want to think about her, feel free.
It's called subtext.
Okay. Well,
I don't think she had, there were no real, parameters for Roz, were there?
Apparently not.
I found this great clip of you at the vending machine. I wanted to show it just because it's so fun.
And by the way, it totally reminds me of me because I've done the 17-day diet. And anyway, you're basically with the same person.
Yes.
Up, you piece of tin!
Roz,
What are you doing out here?
one might ask the same question of you. Isn't it customary to wait until the show comes to a complete stop before exiting?
I have a little urge.
What is the matter with you?
I have got to have chocolate! It's kind of a celebration. At 11:07 this morning, I finished one of those magazine diets. 7 days to a healthier, calmer you.
I got to get to this question because everyone keeps saying, yes, what Katie said. Yes, what Katie said. Could David Hyde Pierce talk a little bit about his preparation for the Valentine's episode where his finger starts bleeding, then catches the couch on fire?
Nope.
The answer is no. Next question.
The preparation for that was, I don't know. That was, the thing I always say about that episode is really the preparation it was written in the room. The writers all put together all of that stuff. Virtually every bit of it was on the page. And then we, crafted it. And for me, it was all about, honestly, it was all about justifying it psychologically. That's all I can think of. And it was a lot of, and then also that we had to shoot it without the audience and then show it to them. But
we pre-shot it, didn't we? We shot it the day before, I think.
We had to, it was just technically because the apartment got destroyed and we had to shoot it twice. And the pyrotechnics of the couch becoming on fire and stuff, stuff like that.
Who directed that one?
David Lee directed that one. Yeah. And can I say one more thing about it? This isn't about my prep, but David Lee had the idea to put the dog in the middle of the action. This was a scene where it was just me in the apartment, and for various reasons, I blew the place up. And he did it so that he would have something to cut to, purely for technical reasons, so that he'd have a reason to, cut to a reaction shot in the filming of it. Well, some of the funniest stuff in the scene is just that dog looking at this idiot running around like a maniac. It's pretty great.
Little baby.
Yes.
Not since B. Arthur has there been such a blank face. So, Bebe Neuwirth, since you're here, we found this fun moment. James, you found this, right?
I did. And if what I saw is correct, this was the very first time that your character was introduced. Tell me if that's right. I'm going to play it. Yeah, pre-Frasier. Hold on.
So, how do you like Cheers?
Well, it seems adequate for its purpose. But I have a feeling that you only brought me to this place to surround yourself with people you know and I don't.
Well, yes. But what's more, I thought that we might have a drink or two, thereby lowering our inhibitions a bit and enabling us to go back to your place and have a physical encounter of some sort.
Well, we won't.
You're brilliant in that role. It's like, what was on the page?
It was on the page. The page was brilliant.
Wow.
No, that was that was the audition. That was also the side that I had to read for the audition. And when I got the part, they described the part, and I thought, really? I never go up for stuff like that. I played Sheila in Chorus Line, Anita, West Side Story, all these hot babes. And I was like, what is, okay, well, let me try to think of it. And then I got this funny voice in my head. I thought, let me do this funny voice. So I did that, and then I got the part and went in. And I don't know if Kelsey, you remember, but went to the, from the audition to the read-through, I was dressed for my audition with my hair all slicked back, all buttoned up like this, did the read-through at the table read, and we broke for lunch. And I came back, I was like, me with my leather mini skirt. And Ted came over and said, hello, I'm Ted Dance. I said, yes, we met earlier at
the Oh, Ted. Yeah, no, I think that was the birth of several episodes, actually. As a result. Yeah.
Because that was the episode with Jenny Tilley.
Right.
Was,
I married her, I think.
yeah, she played Candy. Like, it spelled like Gandhi with an I.
We're talking about all the hilarious writing from Frasier, and I was so excited when the show started happening because I was obsessed with the books of Joe Keenan. He's like one of my literally top favorite authors, obsessed with his books. I think he's so brilliant. Do you remember anything hilarious that he wrote for the show? Could you tell like what he wrote, or was it always kind of a group effort? Or didn't know what he actually wrote?
Yeah, he wrote all the farces, pretty much. All the cabin, the ski cabin, and all that those kind of things.
Harriet stuff too, right?
Some of it, yeah. The Harriet's where she plays. Frasier thinks she's Satan. Yeah.
He may remember better what he wrote. Joe, what did you actually write? Surprise guest.
There we go.
Yeah.
They're letting a non-writer onto the show, so you know they've exhausted the guest cast. No, I remember the farces became kind of a brand, for me and for the show, and I was always very flattered by that because when you looked at all the episodes, there actually weren't that many of them. We knew better than to do more than one of them in a season, because if you do them all the time, then it becomes kind of a cheesy hallmark of misunderstandings and and hijinks like Three's Company. And since the show was always on such an even keel, when it erupted into farce, all the emotional groundwork had been laid for the absurdities. But they were fun. They were a lot of fun.
All of Joe's books are farces, and they are so brilliant. Beginning with Blue Heaven, Putting on the Ritz. What's the third one? I love the third one.
My Lucky Star.
My Lucky Star. So brilliant. Joe Keenan, people are wanting to know, any of the crazy things that happened on the show or any of the character traits, were they from real life or were they totally invented?
Well, the relationship stuff was all based on. It was very easy for me to relate to Frasier and Martin because I had a very working class dad. One of our silliest episodes, one that I wrote about the seal, was actually based on real life. That happened. Chris Lloyd was up at his beach house in Carpinteria, and a dead seal washed onto the beach. They wanted to have a cookout, so they got in a kayak and dragged the seal out. And half an hour later, it washed back up. And we thought, well, maybe this would be a funny Frasier episode. Frasier now trying to have an elegant beachside dinner party, and this dead, rank, stinking seal just kept washing up and ruining it for them.
I think the whatever Marine Wildlife Hotline guy, I think Chris actually spoke to him, and they suggested that they stick a bunch of holes in it and tow it out to the middle of the ocean. So, thank you for your help. And here we go. I think he hoped they were going to come and get it.
Dan Butler, I remember we talked about how you came onto the show. Was this character, your portrayal of the character, based on anything in your real life, or were you just like, I'm reading what's on the page and just doing the obvious choice?
Well, the stuff on the page was great, but I think I sent up the way my dad would get angry. It would always go from 0 to 100 and then drop away just as quickly. And it was good that he would get a kick out of it too. But
I got to tell you something. I don't know if I've confessed this before, but I actually call my wife Bulldog sometimes. It's for, maybe I'm sharing too much. Maybe it's too inside.
No, share more. How did that start? Based on what?
It's because she'll say something like, "Someone has stolen my saffron," or whatever. Where is it? Oh, here it is. It's an homage to you, Dan.
Well, Dan, you're definitely getting comments. The Bulldog bark is gold. And let's see here. Hold on. There's another one here. What was that?
You know,
I need Dan to do the Bulldog bark. I've had the worst day ever, and frankly, I think everyone watching would love it.
Hey. Oh, okay, there you go. Well done. Yeah.
But no one would ever get the character's name. And people on the street loved the show and would comment about it, but they call me. One person called me Chainsaw. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
No, I think it's right
we have
here.
a little clip here of you.
There was nothing. There was less than nothing. Yeah, right. But tomorrow you're going to find somebody even hotter. And you know what you're going to do? Yeah. You're going to have your fun with her, and then you're going to dump her just for the hell of it. Yeah. Dump her. And you know what? You're not going to feel bad about it at all. You know why? Because we're guys, and that's what guys do.
Oh, my God. Yeah, that one was straight from the heart.
Did we just call that episode hashtag?
Yeah. That's what guys do.
Well, there was like a minute and a half before that, David. There was the scene that it's 15 seconds, and it's between you and Kelsey, and it's so personifies. You're such a great physical comedian, and it's just like there's so many things. Just
well, your exit is very vaudeville. Exit stage right.
Yes,
we're obsessed with. We watched it 3 times.
Yes, it's right before that. Hold on.
What is going on?
Excuse me, Bulldog. Frasier, please. We're in session.
Look, Niles, we have to pull this man together in minutes, not in a lifetime, for God's sake.
Dare you talk to me like that? You think
I will talk to you anyway. I wish to. We don't have the time for this. Now, get out.
All right. Bulldog, I'm referring you to my brother. Frasier, I'll call Francois, tell him there's been a death in the family. That ought to buy us another 10 minutes.
So good.
That's great. It's I don't remember most of these episodes. I mean, I remember it now that I see it, but holy mackerel! It's
They're good clips.
Yeah.
I have something else to tell you about David Hyde Pierce.
Oh God.
I once asked him, what were his influences? He confessed to me that he learned most of his comedic stuff from Bugs Bunny.
Yeah, from Warner Brothers cartoons, vintage Warner Brothers. Totally true.
It makes perfect sense.
Yeah. All of that. It's true.
It's so Daffy Duck. That was like a Daffy Duck move, actually, your exit.
Thank you. Tons of them.
Hey, Joe Keenan, do you remember, did you ever have to fight for anything to get into a script? Either they were like, people were like, it's not funny, or talk about that. Ever have any arguments with the powers that be?
Actually, I mean, it wasn't an argument, but the Matchmaker, maybe it would be funny if the boss body was on a date with Frasier. And it didn't go anywhere. I said, no, it could, there could be a misunderstanding. I was thinking of Acorn plays and stuff like that. And it could go on for a long time without anybody wising up. And the idea just kind of laid there and went away. And I thought, oh, well, I think that could be an episode. And I was terrified to pitch it again because I knew that 2 strikes, you were out. It wouldn't come back. And I waited until David Lee was back in the room. And then I brought it up again. And David Lee, of course, glommed right onto it. And it started developing and it became an episode. But the first time, I think I did such a bad job of pitching it that nobody jumped on it. I thought, well, that was that. I thought it was funny. Nobody else does. So let it go.
Well, our viewer Gabby said, oh my God, that episode is so funny. Just saying. My sister Beth just texted me, David and Kelsey, what do actual therapists think of you guys?
They don't speak to us.
No, that's a rule. I know a few therapists who have told me they became therapists because of our show.
Wow.
Which is pretty interesting. I have no reason, I have no way of knowing why they thought they'd become therapists because of our show, but they did it because of our show. So that's all I have.
It's possible they thought, well, if they can do it.
Very possible.
Or they thought they'd get a nice apartment like that. Where
what a life they live, right? Yeah, exactly.
That's right. Both of our apartments.
So, Bebe, I was watching an old interview with you when you were, just beginning. Did you think you were going to go into these amazing acting gigs, or were you thinking you were really just going to be old school dancer and silent?
Well, I started talking when I stopped doing, stopped dancing in ballet and started dancing musical theater. And, but I wasn't going to be, I was not out to pursue a career in television or film or anything like that. I just wanted to dance on Broadway. And so when I was dancing on Broadway, and that was that episode that you played of me and Kels doing our first scene, that was when I was doing Sweet Charity. I'd done Sweet Charity in California and I was waiting to do it on Broadway.
Wow.
So between there, I was in LA and that's when that happened. So when they offered, I was doing Sweet Charity on Broadway and they go, oh, we want you to come and do a Cheers episode. And I had snow days built into my contract. So I go out to LA and I go do that. And then I come back and then it was like more and more they were asking. It was weird. It was a hard decision though, because it was like, wait, what? Fabulous part. And I loved it, but I'm a Broadway dancer. What's happening?
That's what it seems in this clip, because they're talking to you, you're doing a chorus line and you're saying, just because we're lucky enough to have speaking lines as dancers doesn't mean we're going to have an acting career. I love this. Here you are. I guess you're probably around 21 years old.
Oh, I think as Scott says, you get used to this and you don't realize that this is a very special instance and you can't automatically go into an Ibsen play after this is over just because you've opened your mouth.
Oh my God.
Just because you opened your mouth.
That was, I was 22 years old in that. 21. I was 21.
Cute.
Beautiful. And that was Scott Pearson. That was Scott Pearson, dearly departed Scott Pearson. Yeah.
We love the loving relationship between you and Kelsey.
That's all the time we have today. This is Dr. Frasier Crane, wishing you a good day and good mental. I'm sorry. Someone just walked in the room and frightened me. It's my ex-wife, so if you're a regular listener, you know what I'm talking about. We'll see you Monday.
That was so great.
Yep.
Perry, we have another question for you, and of course it's sex related. This is from Austin. I can't read the name, but it says, Perry, do you think that Roz might have actually wanted a threesome with Niles and Daphne?
Is this the same person?
No, Perry, why are you getting all these questions like this?
I don't know. I think it was it was so well written and so much fun. You know, I just don't think it would ever have occurred to her. So when it came up, you know, that's the way I think. You know, the way when it came up, it was like, oh, I don't know. I mean, really, how did she said no to too many new experiences.
The answer is yes. James, are you back in London, by the way, or are you stateside, as we say?
Oh, I'm stateside. Well, you talking to Kelsey, because I think you weren't you in Kelsey?
I was in England until about a week ago, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This is a great question. What were some of the most famous callers into Frasier's radio show? And do you have any favorites?
Well,
I remember Ben Stiller did one.
No.
Actually, Jerry Stiller did one.
Right? Yeah. Mel Brooks did one.
Yes. And
Henry Mancini did one.
Chris Reeve did one.
Sidney Pollack.
Reeve, yeah, right.
Eddie Van Halen.
Yeah, I loved the Eddie Van Halen one. That was good.
Joe
who's the director of Tootsie? He did one.
Sidney Pollack did.
Yeah.
Pollack did one, yeah.
Ed Harris called into Bulldog show.
There you go. Seems right.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Would you ever request, like a celebrity, would you say we want to have this person on?
I think so. Yeah. I know. I asked for Henry Mancini. Yeah. He said he did that. He did one about my voice.
Hold on.
I think who else we have. I used to love the bit they did at the end of the season every year where they'd show the people that had called in.
Oh, yeah.
That was nice. But I'm drawing a blank now.
Perry, what about this question? What is the favorite one-liner of Roz? Do you have one?
I can never remember anything. I mean, I can't remember. I just remember saying multiple murder. That's all.
Yeah, that's good. Multiple murder. Yeah.
But you know what was so funny about that is David Lloyd wrote that script and he wrote it out phonetically. Like I just said the line exactly how he wrote it, which always made me laugh. You know.
Who decided that, Kelsey, you were going to be saying "Dear God" so often? Was that how that happened?
No, I'm not sure. I'm not sure that just didn't sort of happen and then it got written in. You know,
we found him.
Yeah,
we found him montage.
Yeah, he said a lot of times.
What pathetic dupe have you lured into your web now?
Roz.
Oh, dear God. Oh, dear God.
Happy birthday to you.
Oh, dear God. Dear God. Dear God. Oh, dear God. Oh, dear God. Oh, dear God, it's finally happened. Dear God. Dear God.
Oh. Yes. Yeah. It's It makes sense.
Oh, I think Seth, are we missing anything here? There's so many questions. But
I know it's so overwhelming. By the way, someone said Stephen King was once a caller.
That's right.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
And Mary Tyler Moore. Wait, Dan, please say the signature line. What's this? Dan, please say the signature line. It would make my day.
Dan,
the signature line.
Is that like this is total BS? This is.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
This stinks.
Oh, right. It stinks. This is total BS. This. I've got it.
Oh my God.
Oh dear God.
No, got it.
I've got a quick story. Peter Casey brought in a letter. You know, they got all his fan letters, and he couldn't help it. It was a letter that said, "We so loved this show because it had Eddie and it was adorable, and we were so glad that Bulldog and Roz weren't in bed all the time, and a little less sex and more of the dog." And so I said, "Do you have her address?" So I sent her a signed picture and said, "Thank you so much. You make it all worth it." Thank you. Thank you.
well, we want to thank all of you. You know, one of the things I love so much about Frasier is that it's real, it's funny, and it has heart. And the combination in every episode, and I was looking for clips. There's so many. I mean, definitely the one with Kelsey and John that was earlier. But even with Lilith and Frasier, there was that heart, this heart that was there. And I just wanted to show this a little bit because it was really lovely.
It's a nice way to close this show.
Yes.
Yes, well, I guess I've got some thinking to do. Thanks for talking, Lilith.
Anytime. I love you, Frasier.
I love you, too.
Yeah, I love you. Love you all.
Honey. People get up. I get sometimes people say, why didn't they get together? And then they should have stayed. And it's really, really sweet.
Yeah.
It's not too late.
I was. There's always time for a reboot.
That's right.
There we go.
Joining us again. You brought so much joy to people around the world. So people are commenting from all over the world. Your show is amazing. Sadly, this is going to be going on for a while. I'm sure there's going to be a part 3. So stay tuned. We have to have another spearheader. So Harry's already done it. David. Okay, so Jane, you're next. All right.
I guess it. Have a great weekend, everyone. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Goodbye. Take care.
See you later, guys.
Guys.
Some classical music for hoity-toityness.